Hi everyone, my name's Beth. I'm here at Wiggonholt Common, which is part of the RSPB Pulborough Brooks Nature Reserve. It's just between Storrington and Pulborough, and it's a lovely bit of lowland heath in the national park. Now, as you'd expect, being RSPB, the team here have done a lot of work for our ground nesting birds that like to come and nest in the heather, but they've also been doing a really important project here as well, trying to conserve one of our rarest invertebrates. So I'm going to go and try and find the next sculpture and have a chat with Assistant Warden Emily Dupe about the work that they've been doing here. Hi Emily!
Hi there.
What have we got here?
Well, I've got some finishing touches.
It's a weird little...
Figure it out.
Ah. Ah, he can smell now. So what is this interesting sculpture of?
So here we have the lovely field cricket.
Ah,
There you go. See that?
very pretty. So what's so special about field crickets, Emily?
So to give you a bit of background, the field cricket is among the rarest and most threatened invertebrates in the UK. The song used to be the soundtrack of the summer, but unfortunately we almost lost that beautiful song when back in the 1980s it was recorded of just 100 individuals in just the one location, so we almost completely lost them. And that caused a lot of conservation initiatives to be triggered and put into motion to bring this species back onto the road to recovery. And one of those projects took place here at Pulborough.
Amazing. So what have you been doing at Pulborough to make the habitat better for the field cricket?
So as part of the Back to the Brink programme, which was funded by the National Heritage Lottery Fund, we've been trying to work hard establishing a new colony of field crickets here on Wiggonholt Heath. And before we could translocate them and bring them here, we had to get our heathling ready. So should we go and have a look at what we did?
Yeah, definitely.
So if you could cast your mind back to just a few years ago, this used to be a plantation. So it was absolutely filled of really mature birch and pine. And when we get to this point, you'll see all of the work that we've done.
Fantastic. We can hear a buzzard calling in the background, wants a bit of the live as well.
There we go. So the field cricket is really dependent on heathland habitat. And that was one of the reasons they were in decline, because the heathland habitat has been really struggling here in the UK. So we had to work really hard to get it back to early to mid-successional stages. So for that we had to get short grassland, we're looking for tussocky vegetation and bare ground patches. So we did a lot of tree and scrub clearance to open it up, and we mechanically created bare ground. We had to do a lot of cutting of our existing heather to encourage new growth and make sure we were getting a mosaic of all this bare ground, heather and short grass across our site on Wiggonholt.
Okay, so that's what we can see here on the heath now. So those paler patches are areas of bare ground, are they?
Yeah, so we've got the sandy sort of soil, and we've gone for trying to get the southerly slopes, so they really heat up in the day. You've got the beautiful heather, you can see the different age classes as well, and we've got a sort of a few trees, and we've got the shorter grass in between as well.
So you mentioned something about translocation. What does that mean? Why couldn't they just fly here themselves?
So even though they actually have wings, they don't use them to fly. So our translocations meant that we were under licence. We went to a different site where they already had an established colony of field crickets, and we used a method called tickling. So we literally used a blade of grass to tickle the entrance of their burrows, and with that we were trying to encourage the young crickets, or what we call the nymphs, to emerge from those burrows, to be safely captured, and then we transported them here. In 2018 we did our first translocation right here in front of the sculpture, and we've had 2 translocations since.
And do you think the project's been successful so far? Are the field crickets happy here at Wiggonholt?
So as part of the programme we did the 2 translocations, with the third unfortunately being cancelled due to the pandemic. but we're really pleased to say that this year we had 3 chirping males, which means since the translocations and the Back to the Brink programme started here, we've had successfully breeding field crickets for the first time that's been recorded on Wiggonholt Heath.
Oh, that's fantastic news, and that's why we've commemorated it with the field cricket sculpture, which you can see just peeking up there. So thanks so much, Emily. If you do want to come to Wiggonholt and find the sculpture for yourself, you can pop into the visitor centre and you can get a copy of the Heathland Sculpture Trail leaflet. So that will give you the rough location of the cricket, but also other sculptures in the trail as well. And if you do have a young family or additional needs, then RSPB Pulborough Brooks is a really good place to come to find your first sculpture, because there's great facilities here. There's toilets and a small cafe as well, which is open again now even though with COVID restrictions. And so I'm off to Lavington now to find the next sculpture, but do tune in at 11:15 with Katie, who'll be at Iping and Stedham looking at the next sculpture there. So thanks, Emily.
Thank you.